for remaining with us. We're still looking at the poor performance of the Uganda Securities Exchange yesterday. And as I've said, this doesn't mean in any way that companies are failing or that these companies are collapsing. It just simply means that things didn't work out very well for the market stocks here on the Uganda Securities Exchange. And let's have now a look at the details of the performance here for these particular stocks. And we will start with Uganda Clays. Now, Uganda Clays Limited, as we have mentioned before here on the show, is one of the oldest listings on the Uganda Securities Exchange, meaning it has been listed for a very long time, depending on given the company's, given the time the Uganda Securities Exchange was incorporated in 1997. It has been listed since the year 2000, and it came on the stock market with a very wonderful performance there. If, of course, those who know the history of the stock market will tell you Uganda Clays had a lot of speculations around where people actually bought into the stock of Uganda Clays for as much as 1,000 at a certain point, and then the stock went all over through the roof to over 10,000 and so on upwards. And many people actually made a lot of money back then. But later on, the stock fell significantly to very, very low prices. And of course, quite a number of people still made losses. And but let's now forget the history and look at the recent performance of the Uganda Clays Limited company. Now, UCL is their ticker symbol, as you can see on your screen. And yesterday they lost 1.59 of their price valuation, and that was a 8.55% of their pricing for the day. Now, Uganda Clays Limited is one of the companies that had the lowest prices last year. By the look of things, you can see on the graph that in October last year, they had very low prices, even as low as 6-7 shillings per share during that period in 2021. And they came steadily rising all through December to 10 shillings, and then to 15 shillings, and then up to almost 25 shillings around the month of March 2022, where they are seeing their peak. However, since that period of March 2022, the stock has been declining steadily, as you can see, from 25 to 20 around the month of June, and then definitely even lower than 20 beyond the month of June, all through July. And right now we are still registering as prices as low as 17 shillings per share. Uganda Clays Limited is a company that deals in the supply of clay products in housing and construction industry, and we can say it is in the services sector. They provide services, they provide products that help people to be able to construct beautiful houses, and especially the roofing tiles. They trade under their international identifications, International Securities Identification Number of UG000014, and currently they are the 15th most valuable stock on the stock market. And this means that they take about 0.06%, 0.068% of the total market share at the Uganda Securities Exchange, and they have 15.3 billion Ugandan shillings worth of market capitalization on the exchange here in Uganda. And we're seeing that yesterday's trading results showed that they traded a total volume of 28,700 shares that were traded on the counter yesterday. And the gross turnover, that is the money that these shares were worth, was about 487,900 shillings. And of course, this gives you a picture of what the pricing is from 18.9 to 17 shillings after trading 28,700 shares worth 400,000. You can just imagine, just over 400,000, and the price has dwindled to over 17 by over 8.55%, dropping. And then the shares outstanding, they have over 900 million shares that are outstanding, with a total market cap of 15.3 billion as well. Now, looking at their 1 week performance, they have lost in terms of 1 week about 10.5% off their pricing, and in terms of 3 months they have lost 19.1%, while in terms of 6 months they're still on the gaining side of 30.8%, following that sharp increase that we are seeing over the months of December, January and February. And then when you look at the year performance, 1 year performance, we're seeing that they have improved by 100% in terms of 1 year performance, exactly 1 year ago. And then year to date, they have improved by 30.8%. Now, this 8.6% from the previous day of trading, which was closing at 18.59, that was after, of course, and now after losing, they came down to 17 shillings. This, of course, compared to the beginning of the year on the 1st of January, that was when they began with the share price of 13 shillings, has gained 30.8% on the price valuation, ranking it the first in terms of year-to-date performance. So regardless of the loss, they're still on top of other counters in terms of year-to-date performance, comparing their 1st January trading price of 13.0 Ugandan shillings and today's opening price of 17 Ugandan shillings. And in terms of year-to-date, we have already mentioned they are ranked number 1. They are the number 1 most highly performing stock in terms of year-to-date. However, they are the 5th most traded stock as well on the Uganda Securities Exchange over the past 3 months. Between the month of May and August, they have been traded most in terms of volumes. That is in the 5th position. And the UCL has traded within this period a total volume of 7.24 million shares that are valued at 135 million over the period, with an average of about 114,940 traded shares per session, and a volume high that was reached of about 1.5 million, which was achieved on the 26th of May within this same period of 3 months, from May through June and up to right now in August. And now when you look at the last 10 days of trading, we're seeing that yesterday, yes, they had some good volume of 28,000 shares. The day before that, that was on the 9th of September, or on the 9th of August, they had also still a volume of 37,000. They had a volume of 37,100 shares that was traded, and they ended the day with still a loss in trading. And then we think on the 3rd of August was the other day, they traded at 14,500 shares that were traded and closing the day with a price of 19 shillings. And then on the 20th of July, we are seeing that they had a total volume of over 64,409 shares that were traded and closing the day with the price of 19 cents. And you can see some volumes here and there, and the highest price we have so far is 19 within those last 10 or so days, and the lowest price we have hit right now is 17 Ugandan shillings, though it was still registered on the 11th of July 2022 as well, 17 shillings as the closing price, meaning anywhere below this price of 17, we are going into the lowest prices we are seeing within this year, within this period between the month of May to the month of August. As regards competitors, they on the stock market, they have only one competitor who deals in the industrial sector, that is Kenya Airways, and who is also on a year-to-date gain of 3.69%, meaning they beat Kenya Airways still on the count of year-to-date performance on the stock market. Well, there you have it. That is Uganda Clays Limited, a clay company that manufactures the roofing tiles, max pans, and other construction clay material that can be used for several purposes in construction. And it has been listed one of the oldest listings on the Uganda Securities Exchange, and ended the day with a loss of 8.55%. And let's now move on and switch gears here to MTN Uganda Limited. MTN Uganda yesterday was one of the gainers. Unfortunately, today she lost on the market. Yesterday she lost on the market, as we have already seen. Now, MTN Uganda is traded on the ticker symbol MTNU. And yesterday they lost about 0.18 Ugandan shillings off their price valuation, closing the day with 185 shillings. That's a 0.1% loss in prices there. And MTN Uganda is the second most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange, with a total market capitalization of 4.14 trillion Ugandan shillings, which is about 18.4% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange equity market. And the traded volume, as you can see on the graph, nothing much really has changed for MTN since its listing on 6th of December at exactly 200 shillings. The prices moved down to 160 towards the month of March 2022, and then they moved up again back to 180, and they had a steady, the curve was steady between the month of March and the month of May 2022, and then a few fluctuations in April, but they were not sustained until we seen in June around the price of 185, which was on and off, on and off, on and off. And then they went below 180 again in around the month of June. And in July, in the month of July and August, we're seeing that they were able to come back up above the 180 shillings mark. And today they opened the market with a price of 185 Ugandan shillings. And recently, they have registered some very wonderful activity. They have been able to trade several volumes on a daily basis within the last 2 weeks. They have been one of the counters, or if not the only counter, that has been able to maintain a daily trade on the stock exchange, meaning you will always wake up and find that there was some buying or selling of stock on the MTN counter on the Uganda Securities Exchange. And yesterday alone, they traded 15,450 shares, and these were valued at 2.86 million Ugandan shillings that were transacted for these on the market yesterday. The shares outstanding, however, are 22.4 billion shares, and they are valued at 4.14 trillion Ugandan shillings, making it the second most valuable stock, only after Equity Bank, which is over 5 trillion Ugandan shillings. Now, let's look at the deeper performances here in terms of 1 week, in terms of 1 month, in terms of 3 months, and so on. Now, the last day of trading ended with a price of 185 after shedding of 0.1% from the MTN stock price. And MTN, however, began the year with a price of 194.99 Ugandan shillings, but has since lost 5.12% of that price since the beginning of the year, ranking it the ninth on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. And we're seeing that in 1 week, they have lost 1.31%. In 4 weeks, they have lost 2.47%, whereas in 6 months, they're still on the gaining side within 3.93% of gaining in the past 3 months because they have been really, really hectic. And then you're seeing a year-to-date performance of 5.12% of the value of MTN in terms of year-to-date. They are ranked number 9 in this 5.12% dropping of their price valuation since the year began, and they still are doing great, at least when it comes to year-to-date performance as well. In terms of volumes, MTN Uganda has traded a total volume of over it's the 4th most traded stock after trading a total volume of over 11.6 million shares within just the last 3 months, and is valued currently at 2.16 billion Ugandan shillings over the period, with an average of over about with an average of about 183,825 shares that are traded per trading session, and a volume high of over 2.11 million shillings, which was achieved on the 12th of July 2022. And so this, of course, gives us a good picture of how MTN has been able to trade within this period, with the highest volume of over 2.11 million on 12th of July, which gives us at least a good go-ahead for those of you who are big volume buyers or sellers. You still have chances on MTN. As you can see, they have over 2.11 million as their top or peak share selling or trading on the stock market within the last 3 months. Now, when you look at the last 10 days, within the last 10 days, like I said, they have had trading on each and every single day. Yesterday, they traded. Since Monday, they have been trading. Even last week, they have been trading every single day. So in terms of daily performance, daily activity, I think they are some of the very most active stocks on the market. And remember, you're also looking for this aspect of activity because of liquidity. You want to invest in a stock that is liquid, where you can easily get back the money whenever you want and be able to find people to buy your stock whenever you would want to sell it. And MTN, I think, is providing just that. MTN, for news coming in from MTN, it has just been able to change CEOs from Mr. Wim van Helput, who has been the CEO for quite some good years here in Uganda, and now replaced by Miss Livia, who is coming in from Safaricom. Safaricom in Kenya is the top counter, not only in telecommunications, but the top counter in terms of performance, in terms of traded volumes on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. And it's also one of the very, actually the most popular telecommunications company in Kenya, with its M-Pesa also being one of the most popular mobile money transactions there in Kenya. Therefore, we are hoping for the best, really, as regards the performance of MTN, not just on the stock, but generally in how they have been able to play out on the market in the telecommunications industry. This also, we are hoping will be able to increase. Of course, Vim has been able to do quite some great work. Even the fact that Vim has been able to get MTN listed, that was some great achievement. And definitely MTN was the first initial public offer to be able to come onto the with an electronic means of buying and selling shares, and also opening an SCD account, which for the latter is actually still in use. We can still open the SCD account using MTN, the MTN lines or USSD codes to be able to do this, though we cannot buy stock. But MTN has really done some great work, not only for itself, or its customers, but also on the exchange. And we are hoping for the best, really, when it comes to also this performance that we are seeing on the market here at the Uganda Securities Exchange. And the MTN, of course, IPO brought the *165 hash way of doing things. If you want to open an SCD account, that is the Security Central Depository, where you are going to make sure you're keeping your shares, you're keeping your securities, the debt instruments, talking about the bonds and the bills. This account is free of charge to be opened on MTN. You simply have to have your MTN line, you must be an MTN subscriber, and then you dial *165 hash. And after that, you choose option 6, that is financial services, and then you choose option 5 on the next dialog. Of course, what they will ask you, you choose 5, which is the Uganda Securities Exchange. And when you do that, they will ask for your personal identification or verification data, and definitely they'll be able to identify you and open for you an SCD account. And the rest is up to you getting in touch with your stockbroker and starting your trade. And moving away from the MTN stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange, Equity Bank Limited also lost yesterday on the market. And let's have a look at Equity Bank Limited. This is the most valuable stock on the market, with a total capitalization of over 5 trillion Ugandan shillings on the stock market. It's a bank that is based in Kenya, a subsidiary of Equity Group Holdings, one of the fastest growing banks in East Africa, of course, in the league of, for example, KCB and the like. Now, the Equity Bank Limited stock trades under the equity symbol or ticker symbol EBL and the International Securities Identification Number KE000554. And regarding the volumes, we didn't see any volume yesterday being traded on the stock. We just saw a loss of about 1.45 shillings. That was shed off their price, and that was to close the day with a price of 1,567.16 Ugandan shillings. This is Equity Bank Limited stock for you. And they deal in the financial services sector, so you're comparing them to other competitors like Stanbic Bank. You're comparing them to, for example, KCB Bank, that is KCB Group. You're also comparing them to Bank of Baroda, which is one of the other very, very competitive banks on the stock market. And that is it from Equity Bank Limited. And then East African Breweries Limited also had a loss yesterday of about 4.65 Ugandan shillings. That was a drop of 0. Closed the day with a price of 5,034.4 Ugandan shillings on the stock market. And the shares outstanding in this counter are 791 million shares, with a total market capitalization of 3.98 trillion Ugandan shillings. Now, with these statistics, they are the 4th most valuable stock, and that comes, of course, after number 1, Equity Bank Limited, which is the most valuable. Then number 2, we have MTN, and in position number 4, we have East African Breweries Limited for you on the stock market. And that, of course, gives us a picture of some of these losers on yesterday's counter, and we are yet to see more for the end of the day today, but that's exactly how these losers have been able to perform within the last couple of days and the weeks and the months as we have analyzed them. We're going to take another very short quick break, and we will return with a summary of this trading and see what are the predictions, and also get to some opportunities that you take hold of also on other stock markets around Africa. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Smart 24, driving business.
Sky. Futinbuto, the taste of Uganda in a new international park.
Vimba ne MTN Kabode Super esimu ya sereza nga bw'ogisasulira mpola mpola kuba amasimu kyusa zi status za WhatsApp laba bu video ku YouTube oba kozesa Google okumanya buli ekiri wansi w'enjuba ku GB2